eternal Word of all, born in the stillness of the night. Heaven bows before your throne, earth receives the promised light. Holy child, yet Lord of all, clothed in flesh, yet ever true. Angels speak your timeless name, prophets saw the dawn in you. Glory to the ancient light, shining in a world undone. Glory to the Lamb of God, begotten, not made. Save the brawn in Bethlehem, King who wears no earthly crown. Raise the weary from the dust, lift the sinner who is bowed down. Christ our peace and Christ our rest, Christ the hope of every land. Son of Mary, Son of God, hold us in your sovereign hand. Glory to the ancient light, shining in a world undone. Glory to the Lamb of God, begotten, not made. Glory to the Word made flesh. Glory to the... Good evening, everyone. Good night, good morning, depending on your time zones. Folks, I am going to keep rambling until one of you tells me that I am either heard or not heard, because this last few streams I have messed up, or the studio's messed up, I should say, and we've had some audio glitches. So if you're here and you're watching, please let me know if I can be heard. If I'm rambling to myself, I'm sure you'll let me know as well. But how is every? Well, I suppose I'll save that question until I find out if I'm heard first, I guess. So, see, Mr. Onion Lover is in the stream. I see Tina is here. Romans 8 was here earlier. So, we've got about 16 watching so far. Okay, there we go. Tina says she can hear us. Well, if one person can hear us, that means everybody should pretty much hear us. Anyway, folks, we've got a couple of topics to get to. That's a lot of twos. We've got a couple of topics to get to tonight. However, within this last hour or so, most of you know I've been kind of recovering from the man flu recently. I thought I was feeling better, but within this last hour, it's kind of boom hit me again. So I may not get to both topics tonight. This may be a shorter stream than I normally do. I don't think I have Zach or Gabe joining me tonight. But what we will do is we will definitely cover the main topic. We may reuse the thumbnail and touch on the Islamic Dilemma, perhaps on a stream tomorrow night if I'm feeling any better. But also, I have just noticed, because it's came up live on my YouTube as well here, I am live at a very bad time. Both David Wood and IP are streaming, Christian Prince is streaming, and God Logic, I believe, is streaming. So Probably not a good time for me to be live because all the big dogs are out to play. But anyway, folks, how has your Lord's Day been? I know for a lot of you, especially the American audience, it's still the evening for you. So I guess I can ask you guys, how is your Lord's Day going? Mine's has been good. It's been pretty quiet. Uh, got a chance to go out with the dog today. Hopefully, I didn't reinfect myself with the cold, but I think I've been slowly battling it off anyway. But folks, we're going to touch on our topic in just a little bit. I want to give some time for people to come in, get a little bit of conversation going in the chat if people are available. And then we will touch. I think I will definitely save the Islamic Dilemma for tomorrow because I do not foresee this stream being very, very long compared to some of the more recent streams. We've hit 4 hours and some of them. We're definitely not getting that tonight. Also, folks, I am using headphones tonight. Things sound a little bit more crisp for me, but you can go ahead and let me know how. I know you said, Tina, you can hear me, but you can let me know if my audio is better or worse. And there we go. There's the Apologetics Roadshow live now as well. So, not that I'd be stealing much of David's audience, but there's definitely going to be the big dogs are out to play tonight. So, things are going to be a little bit quieter over here compared to our last stream. Our last stream was very good. We had such a number of commenters, um, which is good. We're probably not going to get that every stream because I'm not planning to always react to other channels. We want to build our own content here as well. But we'll see how things go. We'll see how things go. Things seem very quiet in the old comment department, so I'm just gonna maybe we'll just get into the topic a little bit quicker. Um, but yeah, if you are watching and you're able to comment, let me know how your Sunday has been or how it's going. Then what I will do is I know it's in the show, folks, that this is a call-in show. I've changed the link just so no one can join at the minute because I honestly do think I will do the Islamic Dilemma, Lord willing, tomorrow night if I'm feeling better. So, but anyway, why don't I go ahead and get stuck into the topic here, and I'm going to bring this up full screen. Please do let me know if you can hear me whenever I switch this over to the article, because again, sometimes something weird happens with EVMux, and whenever I am bringing something up full screen and I try to read it, sometimes the audio does not come through. But we are dealing with this topic tonight. Now, brothers drowned teenage sister in swamp in honor killing, court hears. Now, I'm a little bit late to the party on this one. This happened a couple of days ago, or at least the news broke of it a couple of days ago. I'm using Yahoo News tonight because every other article outlet that I tried to bring it up wanted me to either pay to read the article or pay to remove all the ads. So we're not going to do that. But thankfully, Yahoo News here is using the Telegraph, which is good for me because the Telegraph is one of the actual places that I tried to read from, but they wouldn't let me. So I don't know how Yahoo got around that, but I'm thankful for it. But anyway, folks, let's go ahead and address this topic. It says brothers drown teenage sister in swamp in honor killing, court hears. Now, that headline is a little bit different, as you will see from when we actually get into it. But we see this young woman here. This is the young woman who was drowned and murdered by her family. I don't have access to the text messages right now because I didn't have time to pull them up, but I saw them in a video that AP and David Wood did. So if you want to go and check that out, go check out their video. They've got a lot more detail here than me. But the text messages between the family discussing this was absolutely disgusting. So let's go on ahead and get stuck into the article. It says two Syrian brothers are on trial in the Netherlands, accused of murdering their teenage sister over her Western behavior. Now, we are going to be dealing with Islam. We're going to be dealing with Mormonism a lot more often in the channel going forward. These are areas that I do kind of focus on, and it's time to bring that out on my channel a little bit. And I would like to collaborate with some other YouTubers going forward, especially people that are definitely bigger in this realm. And it would be great to kind of work with them, hence what you see in the thumbnail. Now, this is something that I have pointed out. If you want to hear uh, my views on Islam, I will link a video in the comments in a bit with an interview that I did with one of my good friends, Benjamin Davis. He has a podcast with a good friend of his called Cooper Clements, who's also a friend of mine. And we did a podcast together where I discussed the Islamic invasion of the West. And one of the things I made very, very clear in that is Islam detests the West. It detests Western ideology. It detests Western culture. So, whenever you read this line, two Syrian brothers are on trial in the Netherlands accused of murdering their teenage sister over Western behavior. Let that sink in. Let that be a warning to you if you think that Islam is friendly to your culture. It is not. Now, I'm probably going to butcher some of these surnames, but I'm not too worried about that. Mohammed Al Najjar, 23, and his brother, Mohammed, 25, are alleged. I know it's for legal reasons, but I really hate when news sources do this. It's not alleged; it happened. Are alleged to have gagged, bound, and thrown their 18-year-old. Now, this name is wrong. If I could see here, let me see very briefly. It's pronounced Ryan, not Ryan, as in like a male's name. But this article has actually misspelt her name because it's spelled Rayan, and her name is Ryan Al Najjar. So Telegraph, you should probably go on ahead and make an edit to this. Not that you're going to be listening to me, but you know what I mean. Suppose I could email them, I guess. Now, think about this, folks. This is her family. It seems like the dad. We're going to get to this in a minute, but it seems like the dad is primarily behind this or is taking the blame for it. And you're going to find out why he's taking the blame if he wasn't directly involved, which he probably was. But just think about this: you're an 18-year-old woman. You're aware because obviously what has been happening here. The police were involved beforehand. We're going to get to all this, but I'm just giving a little bit of background. Think about this: you've been gagged, you're bound by your family, and they are taking you on the way to a swamp to drown you because you act too Western. Think about how this young woman would have been feeling during this time because she knows what's coming. This is an excruciating death. So let's go on ahead and continue. Uh, Taken to a swamp after discovering she had a boyfriend, which prosecutors claim brought shame on the family. This is the Islamic mindset. This is the Islamic mindset that if you bring shame on the family, the only way to bring it back, the only way to bring honor back to the family is for an honor killing. Now, you're going to get Muslims that say, oh, we don't do that. It's well established in Muslim culture that it does happen and that it's prevalent. And by the end of this article, you're even going to see that the father says that it is part of their culture. So anyone that tries to lie to you and say, "Oh no, that's not part of Islamic culture," they ain't telling you the truth, folks. Now think about this: they accused her of Western behavior because what? They discovered she had a boyfriend. because she didn't always wear her hijab. Their father, Khalid, is accused of ordering the honor killing. Think about this, folks. Honor killing. This is your daughter, and you're going to kill her because she's brought shame upon the family, because she has a boyfriend, because she doesn't always wear her hijab. She's too Western. Their father, Khalid, is accused of ordering the honor killing and has reportedly fled to Syria. Interesting. I wonder why he fled to Syria. Don't think there's anything coincidental there at all. It might be the fact that Syria are not going to allow him to be extradited. Might be the fact that in Syria his behaviour might actually be applauded. Again, they've misspelt this young woman's name. It's Ryan. Her body was found submerged in a swamp 6 days after she disappeared from the family home in, I have no idea how to pronounce this. This is in the Netherlands, Johor. The discovery was made by a passerby on May 28th in, again, no clue, Lelystad, around 25 miles east. Something wrong with me tonight, folks. Around 25 miles northeast of Amsterdam. Now, this part here is absolutely harrowing. I'm not going to lead you to any conclusions. I think you should be able to understand what is being said here. DNA belonging to her father was found lodged under Ryan's fingernails by investigators, suggesting that she had fought back before she was killed. An 18-year-old young woman who was bound and gagged by her brothers, her father, and we hear in a minute that also her mother was involved. She tried to fight for her life because she knew what was coming. DNA belonging to her own father was found lodged under Ryan's fingernails. Her father is to be tried in absentia, meaning that the Netherlands are trying to try him even though he has fled, that he is currently in Syria. And there's not much that they can basically do about that. I guess you can see now why he fled to Syria. Dutch prosecutors have claimed that Ryan was killed for having a boyfriend, behaving in a way that was Western, and had shamed her family. Again, if you think that Islam is compatible with the West, you need to wake up. Her killing has been formally designated as an honor killing. That name, first of all, is disgraceful. There's nothing honourable about it. By the Dutch Public Prosecution Service. The brothers plead their innocence and claim that their father murdered Ryan alone. And then, oh no, there is more. I was going to say this article is one of the shorter ones that I've read. So the brothers are claiming that the father. Hey Mike, I see your comment. I'll reply to it now in a second, bro. Once I'm back in the studio. You're correct, by the way. It has been. So the brothers are claiming that the father did the murder alone. Now, what's interesting about this is, yes, his DNA was found under Ryan's fingernails, which suggests he obviously very clearly was involved. But as many people are pointing out, the father fled while the sons are on trial. And part of the way to get the sons off from this is the father taking the blame for it, which he does. But because he has fled the country, because he is now in the safety of Syria, where he cannot be extradited back to the Netherlands, no justice to the father can actually be done. And I guess their hopes is that the sons will not be held responsible because the father is claiming to have acted alone, as they also claim that he acted alone. But again, if you want to see the actual family text messages, go over to Apostate Prophet's channel. He'll show you in his videos, he reads them out, and it's sickening. It has been reported that Khalid wrote two emails to Dutch media outlets saying his sons were innocent and that he was fully responsible. But prosecutors have rejected that claim. Good, I'm glad they have. They counter that Khalid ordered his sons to collect again. This is her name is not Ryan, it is Ryan. This is spelt wrong. Before driving her to a remote location and throwing her into open water while she was gagged and weighed down. Now, folks, let me share something with you. I have drowned, not like drowned as in died. Well, one of them technically, but we'll get into that in a different story. Um, I have felt the sensation of drowning twice. It is horrible. It is one of the to this day. If I was given the choice how not to go, I would say not by drowning. Because for everyone that points out, oh, it's peaceful at the end, yeah, the key point is the end. When I was very young and in school, this is going to sound very stupid, very very stupid, and it is in a way. But I guess I didn't have any real world experience, any real world knowledge. I remember we were taken to I'm trying to think what way to word this without letting people know the location because it's a little too close to home. We were taken to a beach complex that had indoor pools during a school trip, and I had never been swimming before, and just basically thought that swimming was natural. I just thought everybody knew how to swim, so stupid little me jumped into the deep end and didn't know how to swim, so I sank to the bottom and I was drowning. Praise the Lord, by His grace, a young classmate of mine who knew how to swim, and by the way, we were very young. Like, I think I was maybe like 6 years old. I would need to ask my mum because I honestly can't remember. But I will never forget the feeling until the day I die. It was horrific. And it was only at the end when I pretty much had passed out that I felt peaceful. The next thing I knew is I woke up and lifeguards had brought me round and I was told that the young guy had actually saved me. Think about how Ryan would have felt. Her family bound and gagged her. Who knows what else? Maybe beat her. Other things that I'm not going to suggest in the stream. Just imagine what she felt. This is Islam. It says before her death, Ryan had been monitored by police and provided protection. So before her death, the police knew that she was under threat from her own family. They provided protection for a little bit, and then it goes on to say, but this was ended soon before her murder. Now think about this. The police force in the Netherlands knew the threat from her own family, and they ended her protection. Now, no clue how to pronounce this. I'm not even going to try. Dutch Current Affairs program has reported that Khalid is now in northern Syria and has since remarried. Oh, gee. Just getting on with his life, I guess. The Netherlands has no way of securing his return, the Dutch Ministry of Justice and Security told the program. The possibilities for criminal cooperation with Syria are currently not available, nor do I think they will ever be available in the future if you know anything about Syria. The ministry said the criminal justice authorities required for this cooperation are not, they've bracketed yet, operational in Syria, nor will they be. Syria's own Ministry of Justice denied this, saying that the extradition system had been rebuilt. Okay, well then let's see it. Syria's got the chance to extradite this man back to the Netherlands. Go ahead and do it. Minister Mazhar Al Weiss, I guess, said that may have been the case in the beginning when the regime had just fallen, and now the Syrian justice system has been fully restored. Okay, well, Syria, here's your chance. Extradite this man. He added the country was ready, noting that Syria has already received 3 legal assistance requests from European nations. Well, if you've received 3 requests, go ahead and comply with them. We will provide the necessary legal assistance in accordance with the regulations, he said. The Syrian minister also claimed that his government had never received a request from the Netherlands concerning this case. Interesting. It is estimated that the police in the Netherlands provide heavy protection each year to at least 5 women at the risk of honour killings. Now, honour killings have taken place here in the UK. We can talk about that sometime in stream, but that's why it hits home. This is not something that you see often in third world countries. This is here now in the West because of the invasion that we are facing. But think about this. At least, meaning at minimum, 5 women per year. Think about how many is not reported, how many is not recorded. But the police in the Netherlands have to provide heavy protection each year to at least 5 women at risk of honour killings. Why? Because Islam hates the West. Islam hates Western culture. Then it goes on to say reports from multiple countries indicate that honour killings and related abuses have risen in Europe over the past 20 to 30 years. Gee, wonder why that is. Could it be the fact that we now have Islam here in the West? Could it be that? Could that be the case? Now, anyway, Mike, good to see you, brother. He says, hello, bro. I just like how they called that honor killing. Yeah, that's what I said. It's disgusting. The idea of it being an honor killing is disgraceful. Now, for those that are maybe wondering what this was about, Ryan had a boyfriend. She also didn't wear her hijab a lot of the time. So that was considered Western behavior. Now, a lot of Muslim apologists are going to say things like, oh, Islam only calls for the death of apostates. But what a lot of 3 out of the 4 main schools of thought in Islamic jurisprudence agree with the fact that someone can be considered an apostate if they disregard or if they disrespect the teachings of the Prophet, the so-called Prophet, by the way. So you can be considered an apostate. She was considered an apostate because she had a boyfriend. She was considered an apostate because she didn't always wear her hijab. Then her father, her mother, and her 2 brothers orchestrate her murder because they feel like she brought shame upon their family. Think about that. This is evidence. This isn't even the tip of the iceberg whenever it comes to how much Islam hates the West. And this is what they do to their own daughters. Then we get all concerned and confused about, why won't they respect our women? Interesting. Anyway, Romans 8, good to see you, brother. Yes, I do have a link, bro, but we're going to do the call-in show tomorrow. I intend to do I intended to do a longer stream tonight, but sickness has kind of hit me again, just kind of about an hour before I went live. So I'm going to do a very short stream tonight. I'm just going to cover this topic a little bit, and then I'm going to hop off. But if you're around tomorrow night, please feel free to come up. He says, yep, okay, I understand. Good to see you, bro. You can come up tomorrow, no problem. Um, He also says, I have a horror story along the same lines. Awesome. Please keep that for me to tomorrow, bro. I look forward to hearing it. Well, obviously, I don't look forward to hearing the horror of it, but yeah. Um, Only way that is shame is as they look at us as evil, yet they do evil. Yep. This shows how illogical and satanic Islam is. Yes, and it is. And here's the thing: this is not popular. Again, I think people don't understand what it's like over here in Ireland and the UK. We can genuinely face legal trouble, jail time, being sued for speaking against Islam. Yet I could get on here and do a stream calling Christians and every religious figure in Christianity every name under the sun, and I would face no legal trouble. I would face no issues from my government. However, because Islam is becoming protected speech, a protected religion in a Christian country, by the way. And I know a lot of people love to say, okay, but the UK and Ireland's not a Christian country anymore. No, false. It still is. It still is. Yes, there's a lot of secularization. I agree. Christians have got a lot of work to do to bring this back to being a truly Christian country. But this is a Christian country. We were built on Christian laws, Christian standards, yet we're being invaded from the inside out. How many people are crossing into our borders illegally? No one knows the answer. Whenever we try and ask the government how many people are coming in illegally, coming in on boats, and by the way, we see them come in on the boats. Then they're picked up, they're taken off on a bus, and they're relocated somewhere in the country. Not documented, no names given, what they're going to be doing in the country. And then the locals, we get in trouble because we ask our government, what are you doing about this? Why are you allowing them in the country unvetted? We're the ones that get in trouble. Mike says they infiltrated your government and Islam demands to influence. Yes, correct. Within the UK, primarily England, although it's getting worse in Scotland, Wales, Ireland, and Northern Ireland. It is getting worse, but we're not as bad as England at the moment. England at the moment, it's a lot more than this, by the way, but out of the 7 major cities in England, 7 of them now have Muslim mayors. Mayors who are influencing policy. Sharia courts are being set up in the UK. All of this. And the government allow it. And they punish those of us who ask questions, those of us that want to protect our culture, our heritage. We're the ones that get in trouble. Uh, Jimmy Fisher, can you not use the people you use in your live stream? It is very misleading. What are you referring to, Jimmy? The thumbnail? The thumbnail, Jimmy, is because we're going to be we're not tonight because I don't feel great. We're going to do it tomorrow. We're reacting to a live stream. Reacting to a live stream. What's wrong with me? We're reacting to a video by those 5 people, so that's why they're in the thumbnail. That's just how thumbnails work, Jimmy. If you don't like that, that's down to you, my friend. But it's what everybody does. Mike says this is how a virus takes over. Oh yes, yep. And a virus is a very good way to to describe Islam, or well, could think of worse ways. But Romans 8 says it's intentional genocide against white peoples. 100%, 100%, my friend. And he says it's the most dishonest genocide in human history. Yeah, yeah, it is. And this is the thing. Here, especially, we still have good protection in the sense that Northern Ireland is stricter on its borders. It's not great, but it is stricter. Northern Ireland is still, despite there being some secularization, it still has a lot of genuine Christians in government. Now, we could get into the ins and outs of, whether they are truly Christian or not. I don't know, but a lot of them do run on Christian policies, and they do implement them despite their failures in other areas. So Romans 8 says, I'd rather be invaded by ruthless barbarians than what is happening. Yes, yeah, yeah. Because the thing is, you could then fight back. You could then be fight back, but instead what's happening is we're being outbred. They're infiltrating into our governments, into our lawmaking politicians. They're infiltrating into the justice system, and they're taking power from the inside. This is what Islam does when it cannot conquer through war. Many Muslim apologists online all say the same thing. It is stupid to attack the West head on with war. They wouldn't win. They can't win. But do you know how they can win? Exactly what we're just saying. They can win by invading from the inside, taking over power, outbreeding. When you've got a Muslim man who can take up to 4 wives, think about how many children they'll be having compared to, you know, a man who has 1 wife. And again, a lot of people, it's very sad over here in Ireland. A lot of people nowadays only want either, some of them, quite a lot don't even want kids at all, but some of them only want either 1 kid or 2 kids at most. By, I forget the stats. I say this every time I do a stream, and I really do need to remember, so I'll try and remember for tomorrow. But the stats right now, by 2050, and that's not far off, by the way. That's only 25 years. That may seem like a long time to people, but 25 years is nothing in the grand scheme of history. They reckon by current numbers that the UK will be a primarily Islamic people group. That's disgusting. That's that's literally wiping out the natives, and we're being foolish enough to allow it. We are the frog in the proverbial pot that is being unboiled alive slowly. Mike says there's only one thing that can happen to fix this without internal war. You have to create laws that say any practices that goes against Western values cannot be prohibited within the country. Yeah, unfortunately, Mike, our government are weak, and they're allowing this invasion. The sad thing is, we need strong Christian leaders in government because we currently don't have them. And here's the thing: the Bible speaks very clearly about borders, and it tells you what is to happen within borders. If you want to come and live in a country, you're welcome. You can do it legally. However, you have to support yourself in that country. You have to give back to that country, and you have to abide by that country's laws. You don't get to come in and bring your false gods with you. Demand that you be allowed to blast out, calls of prayer at all hours of the morning. And you don't get to demand things of that country. If we had stronger politicians, good Christian politicians, these people would be sent back to where they came from. If they love Islam so much, if they love Sharia law so much, go live in a country that practices Sharia law. Don't come here. Don't come here. This is a Christian country. Romans 8 says, hey, what's your opinion on unification of Ireland versus retaining union with Britain? If this is too contentious a question or too off topic, don't worry about it. Yeah, no, bro, I can give you a brief overview, but I definitely will do. We've touched on it on a few streams, but it's been here or there. So I have dual citizenship. I have British and Irish passports, although my Irish passport is way out of date. Um, so if you were born before 1995, you were still able to get dual citizenship. That's changed now. If you're born after 95, you have to choose whether you identify as British or whether you identify as Irish. You can still get both passports, but you don't technically have dual citizenship. Um, so the older I've gotten, I'm starting to lean a little bit more into my Irish roots and history, um, mainly because of some family discoveries as well. So I I have mixed feelings on it. Like the history is very dark over here, and I'm sure you probably know a little bit about the troubles. So I have mixed opinions because obviously under UK citizenship I get free healthcare, I get free yeah, primarily healthcare. I was going to say like dentists and things like that you pay for. Um, so there's benefits to living under British rule, but there is also the dark history of what the English did whenever they came over here, and it still affects a lot of people. And Ireland is very weak. Like Ireland, as in like the Republic of Ireland, is very weak with its borders, and they are very liberal nowadays. The government I'm talking about, they obviously legalized abortion, legalized things like gay marriage and things like that. So it's mixed. Part of me would like a unified Ireland, but also there's another part of me that is very thankful that I am under British rule as well, especially whenever it comes to currency and things as well. Like the pound is one of the strongest, most secure currencies on the planet, and the euro not so much. It fluctuates a lot. So Mike says, as Muslims invade, it will only get worse. Not a single Islam ran country has any quality of life. Yeah, no, that's what is pointed out all the time, when people say, well, why are so many people, Muslims coming into Western countries if they hate it so much? To invade it from the inside out. That's part of it, but the other part of it is even Muslims don't want to live under Sharia law. That's why they come to the West, because they can have their cake and eat it. I've also never really got that phrase, to have your cake and eat it. Like, what else would you do with the cake that you have? But anyway, that's off topic. Um, Romans 8 said, I want Ireland to be united in principle, but I'm afraid it'll lead to persecution of Protestants. Yeah. That's part of why I say it's complicated. Like, it's complicated for a lot of reasons, but something that I say a lot, especially when I'm on stream with him as well, because I think people don't understand at times. Like some Americans get it, some don't, which is understandable. Like people barely know their own history, never mind the history of another country. But Ireland slash Northern Ireland is one of the, well, actually, let me go ahead and change that. I would say it's the only country in the world where if you use the term Protestant and Catholic, it's not actually talking about religion. Protestant and Catholic over here mean very different things. They shouldn't, but I'm just saying they do because of political reasons. So if I was to say I was a Protestant, which I am, by the way, but I mean, if I was to say I was a Protestant here in Northern Ireland slash Ireland, what people hear is, oh, you're a unionist. You belong to the UK. You approve of UK rule. If I was to say that I'm a Catholic, people hear, oh, you're a nationalist. You believe that Ireland should be one united nation. So whenever people over here use the term, oh, I'm Protestant, oh, I'm Catholic, they're not actually talking about what they believe about God or religion. They are talking about what they believe politically. Because even if you were to go up to an atheist on the street here and say, oh, are you Protestant or Catholic? They would answer and say, oh, I'm Protestant, oh, I'm Catholic. And if you were anywhere else in the world, you would assume, okay, that person's a Protestant believer, that person's a Catholic believer. No, what they simply mean is political, like what they believe between unionism and nationalism. So, would it lead to persecution of Protestants? Yeah, which is part of the whole reason that the troubles happened. Because obviously, you now have generations of believers that are, very happy with living under UK rule, and they are proud of their history. They are proud that the North, the six counties, belongs to the UK. Now, the term belongs there is triggering for a lot of people because obviously they say, well, actually, no, it belongs to the land of Ireland. Give it back. So it's very rich, very deep, very troubled history. Uh, Mike says, you know what is crazy? Over here in the US, we have crazy Antifa, yep, who are for DEI, yep, and are pro Palestine and pro Islam. Yet they're also, yeah, big in gay pride, yeah, and hate on Jews while calling reps fascists, yeah. It's always funny whenever I see the rainbow people defending things like Hamas and, Gaza and everything. It's like, do you know what they would do to you for supporting, you know, what you support? Always shows the irony in that. But anyway, just think of the contradictions. Yeah, full of it. Irish nationalists online are horrible. They love totalitarian regime on earth and actively cheer at the Islamic invasion of England. Yes. Oh boy, that's an interesting one. I agree with what you said. By the way, the only reason I'm saying it's interesting is I honestly do not think people outside of the UK and Ireland understand how much the Irish hate the English and the English hate the Irish. Now, is that true of every single person on the street? No, well, of course not. Like that's too broad of a generalization. But for those who know the history, for those who are interested in politics, for those who are involved in politics, and what they want for their countries, the Irish detest the English, and the English detest the Irish. Oh yeah, you clarified every totalitarian regime. Yeah, yeah, and it's sad because a lot of the big nationalist names on social media do tend to be very hateful, which is sad to see because there's many nationalists here that don't have big platforms who are not that way. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. But anyway, folks, I probably am not going to stick around too much longer. I'll attempt to go to an hour stream. I hope you forgive me. I did plan on doing a full stream tonight, but I just do not feel great. And there's no point doing a stream when you're feeling rough. But anyway, folks, if there's anything you guys want to put in the comments, please let me know and I'll try and address it while I'm still here. I will be back tomorrow night, Lord willing, if I feel better, which I hope I will. And we will do the Islamic Dilemma, which is what the thumbnail was about. So Jimmy wasn't very happy about that, but it's okay, Jimmy. I hope you come back. Let me see. Let me see. Where are we? Romans 8 says, I don't think it's mutual. I don't see anywhere the amount of hate from English towards the Irish. Um, Sorry, my brain's shutting down here. I don't think it's mutual. I don't see anywhere the amount of hate from English towards the Irish as the Irish have towards the English. Maybe online in what you're seeing, but like in the countries, oh, it's mutual. The English do not like the Irish. There's too much history. Because obviously the IRA were born out of what they saw being English invasion and the English doing. And this is documented, by the way. I'm not going to get into it all right now, but some of the things that the English soldiers did to local Irish women, I'm sure all of you guys' imaginations are mature enough to pick up what I'm putting down. So the IRA was kind of born out of that. And that hatred still kind of exists. It's not as prevalent as it used to be, obviously, but no, it's the hatred is still pretty much there. Um, Folks, I'll still be here for another 10 minutes. You don't need to jump out just yet. I'll be here for another 10 minutes. I see a couple of you saying good night. I do appreciate you guys joining in. Hagios Mindset, love the name, by the way. The Islamic Dilemma is undefeated. Yes, yes. So let me give you a little bit of context here, my friend, because I think this may be the first time you've commented. I'm not sure if you're new to the channel or not. I did plan on doing a longer stream tonight on which we touched on the Islamic dilemma. However, I'm not feeling great, so I'm only going to do 10 more minutes and I'm going to log off. However, Lord willing, I will be back on tomorrow night and we will be doing the Islamic dilemma properly. I say properly, we haven't even touched on it here, but just in case you're tuning in for that, uh, if you want to catch out the beginning of the stream, we talked about an Islamic honor killing. So if you want to chin back, you can see that as well. Oh, pardon me, folks. Romans 8 says my experience is only online, to be honest. Yeah, and that's fair. If it was only online, I would say you're correct. Yeah, the Irish tend to be more focal about their hate for the English, and the English are just like meh. However, in the countries, it's definitely different. England is just one of those countries. It's made a lot of enemies with a lot of other countries, and I think sometimes. So here's how I'll show you this. There are countries I could travel to in an Irish passport, and I would be treated extremely well. There are countries I could travel to on a British passport, and I would be treated badly. Not horrifically. I just mean like badly in comparison, because people tend to think, and again, this is just cultural and geographic ignorance. Whenever people hear England, they tend to think, oh, Great Britain. But England is not Great Britain. England is part of Great Britain. Great Britain is made up of the United Kingdom, which is Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, even though Northern Ireland tends to get left out a lot. Hagio says, oh, okay, thank you. Yep, just wanted you to know because I know a lot of people probably did come for the thumbnail. That was intended to be done tonight, but just about an hour before I went live, I started feeling very rough again. So I know I'm not going to be able to hack a full stream. So thank you very much for tuning in, Nobot. And look, if you're interested, David Wood and Apostate Prophet are they're currently live streaming. God Logic was streaming, and Christian Prince is also streaming. Like they tackle Islam all the time, so I'm sure you're familiar with them, so you can go out and check them as well. However, folks, I've got about 7 minutes left. What I would ask of you all, if you wouldn't mind, is if you would please like the video. It really does help. It helps YouTube push these live streams, and hopefully we can get a little bit more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? When I am sick, I do not operate well. Hopefully we can get a wee bit more of an active community going here in the channel, because we've had an uptick in viewers recently, which is great. But what I really do value more than the likes of the views is I value this conversation with you guys, and when the live chat is jumping, it's great. So Mike says, actually, the dilemma is not what actually matters, as Muslims will deny and make excuses no matter what. Oh yeah, Dawagandis will always try and argue their way out of something or lie their way through something. But the one thing about the Islamic dilemma is it is undefeated, because no matter what way you look at it, Islam comes out as the loser. Like, the Islamic dilemma is undefeated because Islam's greatest apologists, not that they're that great, but you know what I mean by that, they can't even answer this. They run from this topic because they know that they have not, like, there's no way you can answer it. If people aren't familiar with the Islamic dilemma, we'll touch on it tomorrow night, by the way. So let me see what Mike says here. The bigger point that needs to be talked about is that we have scripture older than Islam and it confirms what we have today, impossible to corrupt. Yes, which is part of the Islamic dilemma. Like, I'm not going to get into it right now because it'll make the stream go on longer than I needed to. But part of the Islamic dilemma is that the Quran itself tells Jews and Christians to go to their own books to judge by what was revealed in it because it's accurate. Now think about that. If the Quran tells Jews and Christians to go to their own books because what is revealed in it is accurate, that means that the books, the Torah and the Injil, as they like to call it, the gospel, was accurate and was there even in Muhammad's day. Allah told Muhammad, if he had any doubts about what was being revealed to him, to go to the people of the book and to judge by it. Now, think about this. If it was corrupted, why is Allah telling Muhammad to go to the people of the book? Because if what they have is true, if what we have is still what we have, which it is, by the way, because of we have the manuscript evidence, and the scriptures teach that Jesus is the Son of God, that he was crucified, and that he rose on the third day. That contradicts the Quran. So if the Quran's telling people to go to the people of the book, what does that say about the Quran? That the Quran's got falsehood in it, that it's wrong. Or the other way around, too. This is why it's a good dilemma. Allah is meant to be the one who revealed the Torah and the Injil. The Quran also says that no revelation from Allah can become corrupted. Right? So if we then, just for the sake of argument, concede and say, and I'll do a better job of explaining the Islamic dilemma tomorrow, by the way, I'm just kind of going very rough here. If we concede and say, okay, let's say that the Bible is corrupted, that means then that you're saying that Allah's word got corrupted, that he wasn't capable of keeping it. Guess what that also proves? That the Quran is false. So either way, Islam loses. Because one of the most famous phrases nowadays, thanks to people like David Wood, Giant DOC, God Logic, it's this: without lies, Islam dies. Because it's true. Islam needs to lie in order to stay relevant. Because if it doesn't lie, Islam dies out. Oh dear. Let's see what Mike says, and then I must end the stream, folks. There's only one logical answer. Muhammad only told what he could remember and didn't know of all the contradictions he was creating. Oh yeah, 100%. And it shows Islam is actually made up on the fly. Yeah. So I'll say this very briefly. I said this in another stream, but I'll say it again just very briefly. Muhammad was, during his early life, he was part of the caravan trade. So he traveled across the country on caravan routes and things like that. He came into encounters with Jews, Gnostics, Christians, and heretical Christians, as well as other groups. Muhammad was given the nickname the Ear because anything you told him or anything that he heard, he would later steal it and reuse it for his own purposes because he thought everything that he was being told is true. There are many Jewish stories of Jews who encountered Muhammad who told him made up things to see if he would adopt it, and sure enough, he did. So, Muhammad was known as the Ear for a reason, and it wasn't a good thing. So, anyway, folks, we'll touch on this tomorrow night. Hopefully, Gabe will be with me. Gabe does a lot in Islam as well, so we'll see how it goes. That will be a call-in show, so Romans 8, you can call in, my friend. Mike, you can call in if you wish. Anyone that's watching regularly can call in if you wish. And yeah, Lord willing, we will be back tomorrow night. At least that is my plan, unless I get any sicker, which please pray for me that I won't. But anyway, folks, we've only got a couple of more seconds, and I'm going to head on out. Folks, please do like the stream. It really does help, and it's free for you to do, and it helps me get my content out there a little bit further. Also, folks, I just dropped a new video that shows the latest merch that you can pick up for Christmas if you do want to support the channel. Please do. Mike, thank you for commenting, my brother. Love you. He says, okay, later, bro. Take it easy. Hope you get better. Thank you, brother. I really do appreciate it. It's just man flu's been going on well over a week. So, Tina says, good night, brother. Hope you feel better. Thank you, Tina. Appreciate it. Anyway, folks, I'm going to head on out. Thank you very much. God bless.